This post comes from Let's Not Meet, and the user for this has been deleted, so I don't know who to shout out. So, I won't link it because YouTube will demonetize considering what is on the link. So yeah, sorry about that. But it's called The Bridge. So here's the first post of The Bridge. This was going to be short, but the memory sprung into my mind a couple of days back, and I thought it would be worth sharing. I live in North Wales, UK. For anyone who has had the pleasure of visiting, it truly is a beautiful place to live. Though, for an adolescent boy, it is certainly lacking in things to do. As a result, my friends and I would often find ourselves mindlessly exploring areas of countryside and coastline. Despite it being quite sparsely populated, in comparison to the closest cities, there is a dual carriageway running right along the coast from Wales into England. Also, train tracks run alongside this road for most of its course, occasionally passing overhead via a small cement bridge. Anyway, there was one night a few years ago when about 4 of us randomly decided to try and explore the inside of one of these bridges, as one of the group had observed a manhole cover nearby, which we believed to be the entrance. On closer inspection, we discovered that several tools would be required in order to gain entry. We returned with the necessary equipment and proceeded to unbolt the cover. This had to be done stealthily, as the train track was right beside us. Not close enough to be of any danger, but definitely a sufficiently small distance to cause panic for any train driver. And panic usually means police. It wasn't long before we had removed a heavy steel disc and had started descending the ladder into the structure. Once we had all safely reached the bottom, we decided to progress to the other side. At this point, we are totally confined into a narrow space that leads into the main area. If you are confused as to what the hell this bridge is supposed to be, you probably should be, because it was rather peculiar. I would have never known there was even an inside had we not found the manhole. So as we squeeze and crouch, at one point scrape along our bellies, to the other side of the structure, there is a growing sense of claustrophobia between us. The distance from end to the other is surprisingly long, but by the halfway point, you can look down through narrow gaps onto the motorway below. This was actually pretty cool, which helped keep us calm in a strange way. At this point, apart from the mild discomfort and confinement, we were still just a group of guys on an adventure. This was about to change dramatically. No more than a few meters beyond halfway, which we could tell due to the symmetry of the passageways through the bridge, one of us claimed that we could see some object in the distance at the far end. Slightly hesitantly, we agreed to investigate. Bad move. I reached the end first, and let me tell you, I have never felt the same sense of dread before or since. In front of me was a single fold-away chair, positioned facing a wall. On the wall was practically a torn page from a newspaper or a magazine, showing a fully naked lady in an erotic position. The reason I don't just refer to it as corn, because something was different about it. I can't put my finger on it. It seemed more sinister than sexy, if that makes any sense. More disturbingly, the eyes of the woman on display had been cut from the page, removed with precision, not just hastily ripped off. The scene that lay before us rendered us completely speechless. An overpowering sense of panic could be felt collectively. That was when we found the condom. The horrendous, gut-wrenching, blood-drenched condom. Needless to say, we got the fuck out of there as fast as humanly possible, smashing our knees and shins against the sharp, cemented edges that lined the path to the ladder, which we had entered. Of course, we were all praying to God that the manhole hadn't been resealed, as it was impossible to tell until you reached the ladder itself. Thankfully, the exit route was clear, and we promptly dashed as far away as our legs could carry us. I'm sure this ending comes as a disappointment to some of you reading this, as we all luckily never bumped into the twisted individual who sits in that chair, but I must stress how radically out of the norm this was given where I live. The reason I mentioned the population earlier was with purpose. There is easily enough people to escape the realms of crazy country folk, yet nowhere near enough people to have someone clearly lose grip on society without somebody taking notice. For example, there was literally only one homeless man who everyone in the area knew and grew fond of, eventually resulting in a mass gathering at his funeral when he passed away. I sometimes think, though not recently as I had more or less forgotten about that night entirely, about the person who climbs down into that bridge and navigates through the darkness to sit facing a wall and do God knows what, that ends up with a condom full of blood. You honestly couldn't envision a more surreal situation. It has just come to my realization that what we unearthed that night has not been once uttered to another soul. As a naive teenager, it was the type of thing you just wanted to forget. But thinking about, we should have probably let the police, or at least someone know, about what was down there. Because it wasn't the doings of a healthily minded individual. So there you have it. Apologies for the length. I got a little carried away, as it is my first Let's Not Meet post, and I wanted to make the reading experience as similar to the reality as I could. Now, I'm a few years older, and hopefully a bit braver. I'm considering going down there again, accompanied of course, to see what fucked up shit might be waiting. This could well happen in the next couple of months, and rest assured I will 100% post an update, as I currently have no job, so time is plentiful. And as OP promised, he does come back with an update. Here's what he says. For any of you guys who missed the original post, you can find it here. Early yesterday evening, a friend and I decided to embark on the revisit to this awful place in hopes of finding some more remnants of the twisted scene that had been stumbled upon several years ago. We were not disappointed. If anything, it was even worse than I had imagined. Aside from what you will see in the photos, the general environment within the bridge structure is practically uninhabitable, as it bloody well should be, and stomach turning to say the least. The amount of dust in the passageway is actually quite unbearable, but that is nothing compared to the constant stench that must be endured. Also, the heat didn't help the situation either. I won't ramble on, but I must express how vulnerable you feel when navigating through the tunnel. Even with two of us, both carrying appropriate weaponry, the sense of evil was overpowering. The tension is amplified tenfold by the fact that we had encountered someone or something. The layout of the structure and the multiple tight squeezes means a safe, speedy exit is nigh impossible. It truly is a hellhole. Without further ado, here's what lies in the bridge. Enjoy. So after this post, which he names it The Bridge Revisited, he posts a link to an Imgur page containing the pictures of what he found under the bridge. Of course, like I said, I'm not posting the link because I will get demonetized. So sorry about that, but it's on Let's Not Meet, called The Bridge Revisited. It's not hard to find. It should be the top thing you see when you search that. The first picture OP posts is a tunnel and what looks like a padding or makeshift bed. The second picture is a closer look to that bedding thing, and it's a foam and like a sheet to accompany it. And then the third or fourth picture is just him exploring deeper into the tunnel, and you can see all the dust OP was talking about. The fifth photo, you can see what looks like to be a broken padlock, which he believes to have originally secured the entry. The sixth picture is a used candle. Seventh picture is a random piece of rope, so kind of concerning. The eighth picture contains a container that is used for milk, but the OP says that it wasn't milk inside. It's like a dark brown black liquid inside of it. Ninth picture is like newspaper, just paper in general, with human feces on it, like to wipe with. 10th picture was a bag with a polar bear on it. The 11th picture was what was inside of that bag, which is just more human feces. And OP claims that it nearly made him vomit. The 12th picture was towards the end of the room, and it was that yellow tape that police use where it's like, it says crime scene, don't enter. It was a piece of that, so yeah. 13th picture, it's the narrow entrance and like the final opening to, you know, where OP was talking about how it felt narrow and stuff. 14th picture, you see either OP or his friend crouching, just comparing the size of the hole and like him. And then the next picture after that is basically the same picture without OP or his friend, whoever it was, but without flash, just to see how dark it is. With the caption of that picture, he also says that the images after this is where it truly gets disturbing. And yeah, and it was taken after they went through that tunnel. The first picture for that is a picture of a knife. The next up is what he describes a raunchy image. And we can't really see it on the photo, but part of the vagina area on the picture, or whatever cutout this is from, has been burnt with a cigarette. Then more pictures of magazine covers. One of them, like how he described it earlier, was like a picture of a naked woman. He claims to not call it corn, so I won't call it corn, but it's basically what he described in the story. And then after that is a picture of random assorted items like tape, scissors, a brush. So yeah, it is kind of weird. Then after that is a picture of a large nail, which he thinks could have been part of the structure, but it does look weird wherever it's at. Then a picture of the wall, which contains a melted candle, which he thinks could be the main light source of the area. And then on the wall again is a burnt picture of a magazine. I don't know. He says it's dated 1997, so it suggests that it has been here for quite a while. And then he does find the chair that he was describing in the story, and it has a red blanket right below it. And then he takes another photo of said chair, or multiple photos of the chair, with his flash on, but it's kind of hard to tell because there's a bunch of dust in the area. And then he turns around from the position where the chair is to see what it would look like what you were staring at if you turned the chair around. Then he just takes more photos. Then he spray paints something on inside of there, which is Nobility Scooter 2012, which, okay, so seeing that, I assume that was the Reddit name he had at the time, which, you know, the account has now been deleted. So if that was the Reddit name, so yeah, shout out Nobility Scooter. And then he took a photo of him leaving where you could see the street from the bridge, which is just before the exit ladder. And yeah, and then the sunset. He ends it off with saying, "And this was the lovely view that greeted us as we propped our heads out. I thought I would include this, and it did well to brighten our mood. And hopefully we'll do the same for you. Thank you all for reading and being patient whilst I found time to make a return visit. Hope you enjoyed it." So yeah, kind of an anticlimactic ending. We don't get to see whoever was staying in this area or used this area. I mean, luckily the OP didn't meet that person. We didn't get to see the used condom full of blood that he was talking about in the story. It's still a kind of creepy thing to envision what could have happened there, considering we saw rope, tape, scissors, a knife, and yeah, on to the next one. In 2022, this picture was posted with the title, "Capsuled, ingrown hair removed from leg." This was posted on r/popping, which is just a subreddit for popping cysts and pimples, and I guess ingrown hairs, with many Reddit users thinking that it's a vein or a nerve. One poster even saying that he passed it around to doctors in the hospital and that they said it was a vein. Another one saying that he's an embalmer and it's not a nerve because it would be shiny and striated, but a vein, maybe. The OP for the thread does come and say this story about it. "It all started when I noticed a red lump on my inner mid-thigh about 3 weeks ago. It was impossible to see what was under the skin, but I picked at it anyway because it was causing me pain similar to a deep, dull ache. Each day, it became more painful and swollen. I admit, I should have gone to the doctor to have this surgically removed before it turned into an abscess. On a side note, I've randomly had 4 abscesses on my skin, arm, underarm, leg, and behind ear, which I feel is a lot for any human without any known health issues. Regardless, I have hacked at my leg with a needle to expose the ingrown. When I touched this hair, it was almighty painful, and I knew this is where the pain was coming from, so I had to go. I kid not when I say that I felt like minor surgery. I pulled out a clump after clump of hair, plus tiny cysts attached. Then needed both hands to grab this one. It feels a lot better than yesterday. Before you jump down me for my efforts, I have trained as an RN, and I've been following infection control protocol and appropriate wound care. If I notice the first sign of infection, I will attend to my doctor, and I have a script of antibiotics ready to go. Might share a cute pic of the hole to hell that is my thigh later. Stay tuned. Edit. Thank you for all the concerned comments. I didn't really expect any sympathy for this. Just to share this monster thingo I removed. As far as I know, I have removed the hair follicle and the hair bulb. Highly unusual to remove and more painful than a regular hair. Totally agree with anyone who said I should have left it in. I don't believe it was a vein, as veins typically carry deoxygenated blood and have a darker color. There was also limited bleeding when I removed it, making me think it wasn't part of the venous/arterial system. Again, nerves lie underneath the hair follicle, and I doubt I would have made it past this hair root and grab hold of one. I have dressed the wound in a sterile Bacti-Grass dressing, and I am assessing it daily, with no discharge or smell from the wound, and the pain has been decreasing throughout the day. I will follow up with my GP next week to make sure everything is a-okay. Update. So I let it heal for 5 days, under a dressing. Today, I removed even more cysts/pus, and can see a black hole where the ingrown still lays. Still no pain, but there may be a video of a new monster nightmare coming soon. So yeah, the OP says that she doesn't believe it's a nerve. So, I don't know what to say. Another Reddit user would actually respond to her with a Quora link to someone that thinks that they pulled out a nerve out of their body with a similar story to her about ingrown hairs, but this was like on a beard. And the photo of that guy and her do look pretty similar, at least as far as I could tell. The Quora one does have like more things going out of it, if that makes sense, while the one that from the Reddit user only has like 1 or 2 places that makes it look like that. So yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think she actually pulled out a vein/nerve, or was it just a hair? On to the next one. On March 22nd, 2024, a 14-year-old girl from Arizona made this post on the subreddit r/runaway. 14F. Prepare for paragraph. Not enticement and not a sex worker. Do not DM over 20. Hello, blank. Before I tell you about me running away, I should tell you why. Growing up in general, I never was able to deal with my pain or feelings. My family blew it off a lot, so I always felt grief. My mom died at an early age, and I don't have a father figure, so I am adopted. My adopted parents are divorced, and my mom is a narcissistic control freak who is insecure and verbally abusive. My family is the same. My sister is the same way. Before you ask, no, I do not have any other family to stay with. I don't even really have friends. I have been planning for years to run away. I do not recommend this method of safe haven. When I found a guy, he is in this Reddit. He housed 2 other runaways, and frequently talked about actively, consensually, having intercourse with one of them. He also wanted to have sex with me, although I knew it was wrong. I had been sexually abused before, for years, and got attached to him. He then did block me on all socials. I'm not forcing or enticing anyone to offer a place for me to stay. I more so need some comfort or a friend. Please look at the tags before messaging me. If anyone has advice or tips, it would be great help. The post would then be deleted by r/runaway mods. And yeah, like I said, r/runaway is a subreddit, and the subreddit describes itself as r/runaway is a youth rights resource and community for the wanderers of the world. We offer advice, information, and resources as a form of harm reduction, as well as safer alternatives to running away from home. So that's how they describe themselves as. But as the post that I read out says, PDF files do prowl the subreddit. And when I say that, I do mean that there's a lot. Also, in my personal opinion, I believe that this subreddit should just not exist to begin with. It encourages minors to run away from the home and leave their parents. Obviously, I know that many of these minors that post on this subreddit say that they want to run away due to the abuse that they get, be that mental or physical. And I don't want to discredit their situation, but I'm pretty sure there's better ways to go about this. So yeah, back to the main topic. Reddit mods would see this post and have it deleted, claiming that it violated their rule number 2, which is enticement. The rule that she quote unquote broke, enticement. This is what they claim it is. Do not entice someone to run away to you, offering rides, a place to stay, a job, etc. It may be viewed as potential trafficking. This also goes the other way. Don't ask for rides or places to stay. This is dangerous, and you're practically begging to be trafficked. Keep in mind that knowingly harboring a runaway is a crime in most jurisdictions. That just doesn't make sense. I don't know why they deleted it. A lot of the things that I saw while researching this just believes that most of the mods on this subreddit are PDF files. So I mean that could be it, although I'm not sure. On March 28th, 2024, around a week later, Trevon Nathaniel Langstaff, a 32-year-old California man, was charged with transportation of a minor with intent to engage in criminal sexual activity. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Central District of California, the family of the teen reported her missing in Arizona, and after reaching out to her friends, they learned that she was planning to run away. The girl would tell her friend that she had met a man, aka Trevon Nathaniel Langstaff, on Reddit. More specifically, she met him on r/runaway. He would harbor runaways and was harboring 2 other teenagers that were staying with him. He would also give said runaways a phone and a room to stay in. An early morning of March 27th, 2024, law enforcement visited Langstaff's apartment to locate the victim. The victim was found hidden in a closet in the same apartment. She said that both her and Langstaff engaged in sexual contact after their arrival to his apartment. So to put it out there, all the articles I could find, which was around the same time as this all came out, claim that it is all merely an allegation. I can't find any updated articles. So yeah, as of right now, this is just an allegation. And that the defendant is innocent until proven guilty. So that's just what the articles say. If he is convicted, he would face a minimum of 10 years in prison and a maximum sentence of life in prison. Like I said, I can't find any updates, so I don't know if the case is finished yet. Hey, what's up guys, it's Aris, and welcome to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment skull in the comment section if you made it to the end. And yeah, I hope you have a good day. Bye.